Well, the small-town girl from Germany who became a jihadist for ISIS. She is known as Linda W., the teenager who ran away from home and traveled to Iraq to become a fighter for so-called Islamic State. In a moment, journalist Amir Musawy will join me to talk about his exclusive interview with Linda W., what made her want to run away, why is she now in an Iraqi hospital, and why does she want to come home? Those and more questions for Amir in just a moment. But first, more on the German girl who ran away to be an ISIS killer.
The German teenager had been missing for a year. Now the news that she's alive. 16-year-old Linda W. is in Baghdad. Journalist Amir Musawy was able to meet with her briefly and under close watch by the Iraqi military. He says the teenager is in the hospital ward of a military complex, but he cannot disclose exactly where.
I saw Linda. She was in a medical room. She was wearing a headscarf and long trousers. She had a bullet wound in her thigh and also a small wound in her knee. She was exhausted, but she was able to express herself and answer questions.
When Iraqi soldiers recaptured Mosul from the so-called Islamic State, they arrested several foreign women, including Linda W. She was found in the basement of a house.
She told me she was upset at the soldiers because they were taking pictures with her. She also said they mistook her for a Kurdish Yazidi. But she told them repeatedly that she was German.
Linda is from Pulsnitz, a quiet town in Saxony. She ran away from home and traveled secretly to Iraq via Turkey. In Mosul, she married an IS fighter who died shortly after her arrival. Now the 16-year-old says she's had enough of Iraq.
I asked her whether she wanted to go back to Germany. She answered yes straight away. She said she wanted to get away from the weapons and from the war. She regrets joining the so-called Islamic State, but now she doesn't know what to expect.
The public prosecutor in Dresden has launched a preliminary investigation, but so far Germany has not issued an arrest warrant.
There's a chance that Linda will face trial in Iraq, but the country could also decide to expel her, or she might simply be transferred back to Germany due to her status as a missing teenager.
Linda and her family are hoping she'll be sent home, but in Iraq she could be facing jail time or theoretically even the death penalty.
Well, joining me here at the big table is my colleague Amir Musawy. He had that exclusive interview with Linda W. just a few days ago. Amir, it's good to have you on the show. So how did you get this interview? How did you get her to say yes to talking?
Well, we have access to the family of Linda before when she left it's her home. And also I've been in Mosul the last 5 days, and I heard that Iraqi army got arrested many foreigner women. And they took them to Baghdad, and I want to talk with that people, and I connect the officers, connect some judge, and one of the judge responsible of the case of Linda W. Allow me to have an access to her before making any investigation about her affairs.
So she was part of this group of foreign women that had been arrested, and you found her in an Iraqi hospital. Yeah. Right? And so what condition is she in?
Well, it is not a hospital. It's a kind of medical center of Iraqi army. Okay. She was exhausted. She looks tired. She has a wound, a shot wound in her leg. But
where did she get that from? Was that from fighting?
She did not tell me about that, but she told me that I have this injury here. But in the end of the day, she can communicate with me, she can answer my questions, and also I asked her whether she feel good. She said, yes, of course, I feel good, but I have that and this. But I have an impression that she's really not understand what she's going to face, what she did. When I asked her, would you like to go home? And she said, yeah, of course I would like. Why? Because she said, because I have enough from that war and that noise and so on. I think I have an impression that she's still thinking as a baby.
As a child?
Child, yes.
But did she talk to you about why she wanted to leave in the first place? I mean, she left and she married a fighter for ISIS, right?
Yeah.
But why did she leave?
In fact, we could not ask that questions because the judge asked us, we are not going to in these details before we are going to investigate on her case. They did not begin of the investigation because they want to stabilize her medical situation.
Okay.
And then all the process will going on.
Well, we know she married a jihadist, a fighter for ISIS, and he was killed in battle. We know that. What about her coming home? Is it clear that she will be able to return to Germany?
Not real. No, it's not clear because first of all, she should Iraqi authorities should know what she did in the last year, almost a year. She lived in IS area, and second, at least that she crossed the border illegally. This, according to the Iraqi law, with her age, she could get about 3.5-year jail. Just for that.
So she could face prosecution under Iraqi law, and we still don't know what would happen to her if she did come back to Germany because she isn't an adult. If she were an adult, she could face prosecution for joining ISIS. But we don't know what the law is basically for children. She's still considered a child.
I think prosecution will not be happening in Iraq in this case because I think we should wait first what she's going to say in this investigation, which kind of information she's going to give to Iraqi security authority. Beside of that, she was willing and also she was open to cooperate with the Iraqis. A person was sitting beside her, and he asked her from Iraqi side that she is able to communicate. It make her case easier for, and she was willing. Yes, I'm going to cooperate with Iraqi.
Okay. All right, correspondent Amir Musawy with a fascinating story and an exclusive interview with Linda W. Thank you for sharing your story, Amir. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.